Coming up on Dig It.
I've never seen so many men in neon spandex in my life.
And there was Fatboy Slim, Norman Cook. I'd never met him before. And he said, how do you fancy not going to bed with me tonight?
I am so out of my comfort zone. I'm an indie kid who loves going to the Dublin Castle in Camden. How the hell did I get here?
And then he was showing everyone, look at Zoe's placenta. So it looks like he's wearing a hat.
I thought it was a hat. I thought it was a scarf.
It's his hair.
Oh my God.
All of that right after this. Hi, Joe.
Oh my God, there she is, the sunshine girl, sunflowers in the background, beautiful in blue. Oh. If you're watching this on Spotify or YouTube, we're just painting the picture for you. You look like you're having a lovely holiday, Zoe Ball.
I am finally on holiday, Joe. I made it. I am in Ibiza. It is my spiritual home. I love it out here. All my friends are here. All my friends' kids are out here. It's been fantastic. The weather is fine. In fact, last night I was in Pikes. I've still got my band on because there's no one here to cut it off me this morning. And look, when you go to clubs out here now, they stick stickers on your camera so you can't take pictures.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
which is really good. Because I think if you go, my friends went to Universe the other night, which is the new big super club that was once Privilege. And before that was Coup. I think it was Coup the first time I ever went there. And they were saying in the main room, everyone's watching Carl Cox and they've all just got their phones in the air. They're like, just put your phones away and get on it and have some fun and get sweaty.
Is that what you've been doing?
I wouldn't say I've been getting on it, but I had a little dance at Pikes last night. And I left quite early because my friends were talking about, wouldn't it be funny if you're back in Ibiza and you miss your podcast recording in the morning because you've been out all night dancing. Joe, I'd love to say that I could stay out all night dancing, but I'm a bit of a lightweight these days.
Yeah.
So I was in bed for one, but the gang have carried on. They have flown the flag. And the most exciting thing was, I don't know if you ever saw that meme a couple of years ago in Ibiza of the fantastic guy, Nick, who is the manager of Pikes. There was this great meme where he has to call the friends of a person who's been left in the club in a bit of a state.
I've never seen this. No. I'd love to.
It's very people will know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And he rings you, he says, hello, I've got your friend here. He's in a bit of a state and you need to come and pick him up. And the guy in the background is going, I'm sound, I'm fine. And he's like, no, you're not. But it's I can't really repeat what he says.
Okay, I'm going to look it up. I'll look it up later on.
But look it up. And I met him last night, Nick, and he said, yeah, I've always wanted to work here my whole life at Pikes, and who knew I would become a meme. So anyway, so I'm out here feeling nice and rested. But I must just say, I've had people come up to me out here saying, really loving your new podcast. There was a really lovely lady called Maria who said, I'm a digger, which I really love. It's like our listeners are proper diggers now. And loads of people have been in touch. So many lovely, nice, funny comments from the last few episodes. Oh. Joe, you've got one there, haven't you?
Yeah, no, I have. I mean, this is in reaction to what we were talking about last week. By the way, before we started the pod today, my kids we've got a balcony where everyone can talk from the bedrooms, and they were all just going, oh my God, Mum was talking about sex toys and about bits. It was disgusting. So on that theme, this is a note that came in from Marks and Stencils on Spotify, who said, vaginal estrogen. You just know that John Peel would have played them on Radio 1. He absolutely would. Oh, that seems to be not playing at the right speed. That's the vaginal estrogens there.
That's so good, Marks and Stencils. I love it. You just know it. Yeah, absolutely. Who would have done?
Yeah.
Rebecca on YouTube said, my friend and I went on a road trip to Wales camping. I hope the weather was good to you. We spoke about menopause issues. Her advice has stopped my issue. My advice has stopped her issue. Never underestimate an open conversation on these subjects.
Yeah.
You see, you can say to your kids, look, you might take the mickey out of me for talking about things like that, but these are conversations that need to be had.
Don't fanny around, have those conversations. That's what I'd say.
Yes, no fannying around. Let's talk about fannies.
That's so funny because a couple of weeks ago there was someone who is a very old friend of mine, but she's very refined, very dignified, and we were having this conversation, and we were obviously skirting around a certain issue, and in the end I was like, vulva, should we just say it? Should we just say the word? And she was like, yeah, okay, let's do that. And it was actually very bonding, and it kind of cut through.
Yes.
And we're now deeper friends because of that. We had this really, really enlightening conversation, and it was really great. So absolutely say what you want to say. Don't be embarrassed or shy, because you will learn things and life could be better for you. Simple as.
Thanks to all of you who are still sending in your family nicknames after we discussed the fact that my son calls me Mum and Bass. A very creative one from Karine on email. My mum is in my phone as Kim Jong Mum, and my dad is Vladimir Putin.
That's amazing.
Very good. Very strong.
If you're loving Dig It, and we hope you are, make sure you hit follow on Apple or Spotify. It'll mean that you will never miss an episode. They'll all download to your phone as soon as they're out.
How's your week been? You had another festival, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I was at Wilderness over the weekend, which was it was the best wilderness I've ever been to, because in the past I've been and we've had rain, and it just dampens spirits, doesn't it? You can kind of have that warlike kind of attitudes and just go, it's fine, we will have fun, even though it's absolutely pouring with rain. But actually, it was really sunny, and Wilderness is the festival where everyone wears tails, fairy wings, fairy lights, neon spandex. I mean, I've never seen so many men in neon spandex in my life. There is just something incredibly liberating about going to this festival for many people. And it was great. It was really good. I DJ'd, I swam, I was DJing for Audi, and I thought it was going to be one of these really low key kind of corporate gigs where we were in a tent with a very low ceiling and there'd be like 20 people there. And I got there and it was this huge atrium, like an orangery that they'd built with a massive chandelier. And throughout the entire weekend, everywhere I went, people were going, oh, can't wait to see your DJ set. Come and see your DJ. And I got sicker and sicker as the day went on. I was like, oh my God, how many people are going to be there? This is a nightmare. Because when I do my 90s anthems, I normally have, we have screens and we have effects. I have massive balloons that we throw out into the audience. People sometimes in the past have caught those balloons and they've sent me photographs of themselves in Glasgow on the tube with a massive balloon. They literally take them home with them. And there Brilliant. I was DJing at Wilderness, and it was just no screens, no balloons. It was just me and some tunes. But actually it was enough, and the people there were amazing, and they sang and they danced and they had the time of their lives, and it was just really, really fun. It was really life affirming. It was good.
Did I see a picture of you with Sam Claflin and Tina Dahealy?
Yeah, you did. And Matt Smith as well, and Doctor Who himself.
Yay.
Yep.
He loves a festival, that boy, doesn't he?
Oh, he does.
He does. He's always there.
Yeah, he was loving Wilderness. So again, I'm thinking I'm just going to do a really low-key gig, and I get to go and walk out on stage, and there is Sam Claflin and there's Matt Smith and Tina Dahealy, and they're all standing side of stage just going, go on Joe, and I just hate anybody looking at me at any point doing anything at all. So I was just dying, and every time I looked around, because my kids were all to the left and they were dancing, and there were about 20 of them, like all their friends, their gorgeous friends, and they were all dancing, but the one person I could see was Sam having the time of his life, filming me while I was doing my DJ set, cheering. Yes. And I've never had to up my game quite like that Wilderness DJ set, because I had all these famous people watching me. It was really, really intimidating and scary, and the most fun I've had in a really long time.
He's lovely as well, Sam Claflin. Gosh, the pressure.
People always say, Wani, do you have a vodka before you go out on stage? What do you drink? And I'm like, no. I would definitely press the wrong buttons if I had a drink beforehand. But when I was at Wilderness, I had Sam Claflin standing there, and I was like, get me vodka. I need some vodka. I've got all these people looking at me. So for the last song, I just had this glass of vodka in the air, and it was good.
Joe, if anyone wants to come and see you doing your 90s anthem tour, how do we find out about it?
Best thing to do, go onto Instagram, I think, or just look up Joe Whiley's 90s anthems, and all the tour dates will be there. You can see anywhere that I'm coming that might be near you, and get your tickets. Get all your, this is like an advert, but genuinely, get your best friends, and it will just remind you of what it was like 30 years ago now, and
Stop
get together
saying that.
and have a big night out. Apparently, I can't remember where it was, whether it was Cambridge Corn Exchange or Glasgow, but the venue said that my bar was the best bar. They sold more drink than they had in the whole year. So the people who come along to these gigs, they like to have a good time. And so to do that, follow me on Instagram, go to 90s Anthems on Instagram, and all the dates will be there. Or just look it up, Google it, and come along.
That doesn't surprise me at all. You're going to get a hell of a lot more venues booking up. They'll be like, yeah, hang on. We need that, Geraghty. We need that,
Yeah.
Geraghty. So good. Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, no, definitely come along. Fern Carlton came along recently. I was going to a venue in Bristol and she said, I've just seen a big poster outside and you're playing 2 doors away from where I am. I'm in my pyjamas, I'm watching the TV. And I said, I'm sure you've heard enough 90s songs in your time. And she went, no, I'm going to come along. And she came along, she drank a lot of my rider, and all I could see when I was looking out when I was DJing was Fern in the background with her new chap having the nicest time. And it was just so lovely. So you must come.
She's so happy, isn't she? It's great. And she's such a brilliant, she's got such good vibes. I love that girl.
Yeah, she's a good person.
I love her dearly. I remember meeting her when she was really, really young and she was sort of coming in as I was sort of moving on to the next bit. And it's that, there's a lot of girl support amongst
There is
the
so
gang.
much at the moment,
It's really lovely.
Can I just ask, you're in Ibiza at the moment. Do you remember the first
Yes.
time? So let's talk about the first times that we were in Ibiza, if you want to.
Funny enough, my brother and I flew out together and we realised, this is Nick and I, we were at the airport and we worked out that he was 17 and I was about 24 the first time we came out. We think it was 93 or 94. So it would have been Live and Kicking days. And I brought him and his mate Danny out and everyone had raved about Ibiza and, you know, how amazing it was. And we came in September, but we must have come after closing because we got here, stayed in Portinax. I'll never forget there was a family who were like, Perry, don't shit in the fucking pool. And Perry unfortunately did shit in the fucking pool. And we were like, where are we? And the boys wanted to rent mopeds. I was like, no, you're too young. What if something happens to you? So I hired a car and we got up at 2 a.m. and drove to what was called Coup. In those days, that became Privilege. It's now called Universe. And we got there and it was empty. We were walking around like we'd had a little dance. There was no one there. I'm like, what's this place cracked up to be? This is the clubbing central of the world. Anyway, we'd come out of season and it was a few years later that we came out with Radio 1 and I was with Kev Greene. We were doing the breakfast show and the whole of half, I think, did you come out with Radio 1 as well that weekend?
We stayed at Pikes.
Everybody came out. Yes, we stayed at Pikes. And I remember getting to the villa and everyone was like, right, yes, we can have a drink, then we're going to go to bed. And I thought, hang on a minute, we do the breakfast show tomorrow morning. You can't come to Ibiza and talk about Ibiza without living the life. So I'm going to go out. And handily at that point, I turn around and there was Fatboy Slim, Norman Cook. I'd never met him before. And I think I said, Mr. Cook, I presume. And he said, how do you fancy not going to bed with me tonight? I.e., do you want to go out? We're going out. I thought it was such a great line. I was like, this guy's hilarious. And so I was waving goodbye to the gorgeous Kev. Miss you, Kev.
Oh, yeah.
Bye, Kev. I'll be back in a couple of hours. And we went everywhere. I think there's bits that I remember. I remember going, I think we went to Amnesia. We went to Ibiza Town. It was the time of Music Sounds Better With You.
Oh, Stardust,
and
yeah.
I remember Norm was singing this, Music Sounds Better With You. And that was the huge tune and everyone was singing it. And we ended up, I think we didn't go to Space. Where else did we go? We might have gone to Privilege. And then I ended up in the Manumission Motel. And I remember
I don't want to know. Or do I?
Well, yes, I'll stop soon. But I remember walking into a few rooms and thinking, okay, yes, there's a man with some kind of dildo stuck on his head there. And there's this going on here. And I probably need to go home now. And Norman and all his mates went, right, we got to get her back for our show. And we drove up to the Radio 1 Villa. We pulled up in the dust track. I got out of the car. I may or may not have been a bit sick into a bush. And then I walked in and we were straight on the air. And thank God, Kevin was a professional and had been to sleep. And we did the show. And at some point during that show, I interviewed Norm.
Oh.
And neither of us could really remember where we'd been the night before. But it was the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
If you're watching on YouTube or Spotify, we've got this amazing picture. It's a pool. Is it a Lilo that's there? I think so. There's certainly a bunch of people. Talk us through who's there.
Well, that was at the very end of the breakfast show, which we'd managed to get through. So then everyone just jumped in the pool. So you've got Norm there. That's Zoe. She was Zoe A. I was Zoe B. Zoe worked on the show. And there's the gorgeous Kevin Greening. I miss him dearly. One of the best radio broadcasters I ever worked with. Next to him, Shovel from M People, who was with us.
Legend.
And then Andrew, who used to play Major Hold-Ups, who did the travel reports. I remember him doing a very funny travel report from Ibiza, that show. But I think we were just so relieved to have gotten through the show on no sleep. And I was very relieved to still have a job.
You look so fresh-faced and gorgeous. Honestly, you look lovely.
Oh, Lord.
How old would you have been?
I think in 98, I would have been 27 probably.
God, oh my God.
Oh, so young.
Same age as Jude.
But thank goodness for that trip with Radio 1 because, you know,
Look at your
I
babies.
met the father of my children. And Ibiza then, I suddenly was like, now I get it. This place is, we call it Love Island before the TV show, because for us it is a place full of love. And, you know, the history of the place is quite amazing. I think, you know, in the 60s, people started coming here. The hippies started coming here. James Taylor famously came here, and I think he wrote Fire and Rain out here. Joni Mitchell supposedly stayed here and wrote some of her album Blue. So it was a very chilled out, spiritual place. And then eventually, you know, the clubs opened. I think it was Amnesia in the 70s was the first. And it's a place where people come to play and be free and dance. And we did some good stuff with Radio 1, didn't we, back in the day?
Well, yeah, you had a really great time in Ibiza, and I was there, and I do remember, and there was a lot of controversy and a lot of fun that happened that particular year in 1998. I got to go to Magaluf with Scott Mills and Tim Westwood. I mean, it's taken me a long time to get over this. Finding myself on stage with Scott and doing some weird competition about a drinking game where people took their clothes off, and I was like, I am so out of my comfort zone. I'm an indie kid who loves going to the Dublin Castle in Camden. How the hell did I get here?
To Magaluf. That's hilarious. That is really funny. You can understand why people love it here.
Yeah.
And people come to play. And you now at my age, you know, I'm out here with my friends, and we've all been quite emotional this week because, you know, my little godson is here, Osley. He's a twin, and his little brother Ellis, and they're 3. And there's all my lovely friends, and all our kids have grown. And there's my godson Freddie, who's now 13, and he was the little one. And then there's Nell, and she's 15, but she was once the little one. And it was Woody, who and Stanley, my friend's kid. They were the tiny babies when we first came, and now they're 25, 26,
Wow.
and we're just watching all these generations grow up. But the kids are laughing at us when we're all going to Pikes. We're like, see you kids, we're off to Pikes. And I'm still to hear from my friends about what time they got home. My brother and some of the gang went to Universe to check out the new coup and see what it's like. What did we learn? A lot of people with phones in the air, and there was an S&M room. Which my friends came back and were like, I'm sorry, there was a dominatrix and you were whipped. What? So there were some great tales about that. I think it's almost like an art installation, but I think they're trying to recreate the crazy hedonistic days, because Manumission used to be at that club as well.
This is so very far removed from my experience of Ibiza, can I just say? I've always gone on family holiday trips with the kids, and we've gone to Benaras, and we've loved the drumming on the beach.
Benaras, yeah.
And the kids have run around having a lovely time. This is Ibiza where I forgot to take the kids' clothes, obviously, and they walked around in their Pasha T-shirts and some pants.
So what, you mean you've never been to DC-10, Joe?
Nah.
You've never danced under the planes as they come into land?
No, I remind you one more time that I am an indie kid, and I was a goth, so the clubs that I went to were called Subterfuge and things like that. And
will your kids go out though? Will the gang go?
Yeah.
And Disco Steve, will they want to go to the clubs here?
I think disco will, but the kids definitely. I mean, they did that at Wilderness. You know, they were coming in at 6 a.m. when we were at Wilderness, and they would surface and look very bleary-eyed. So yeah, this is why we're going to Ibiza, if I'm honest with you, because it feels like this year there's been a real resurgence in people wanting to go there, because we couldn't decide where to go on holiday to please everybody. It was really, really getting very tense and very, very difficult about what we were going to do for our summer holiday. And I suddenly went, well, Ibiza, do we go back there? We haven't been there for a decade or so. And the kids' eyes just lit up because suddenly there was somewhere that was beautiful. All I want to do when I go on holiday is get in the water. I just want to be in crystal clear water and I want to swim. End of.
And the water here is stunning.
Yeah.
All the beaches. Yeah, the water's so clean.
If I can jump into the water, I'm happy. But they get a bit bored with that. There's only so many games of keepy uppy they can do with me. So it gives them the opportunity to go out and they can do clubbing. And Coco will be able to go shopping. And so it ticks lots of boxes. And maybe we'll spot Jeff Bezos or Kate Moss or Leonardo DiCaprio. Because like I said, everyone's there.
Or... Hang on,
who?
You want to forget them, forget the actors and the celebs and the billionaires. The people, the real man that you want to meet is he's called Jack Kay, but he is now known, I think, as Ibiza Final Boss. Ibiza Final Boss, this is this fantastic kid. He's from Newcastle and he became an absolute world icon when he was filmed in a club here. And he's really sort of hench. Is that still a word that I'm allowed to use? My kids will probably be, no, you can't say that, Mum. But he's really strong. He's really fit. And he's famously in this black vest. And he's got the glasses on and he's got the little sort of goatee beard and this big gold chain and he's dancing, but it's his hair.
Oh, is that hair?
That has had him nicknamed all sorts of things. Like instead of going to DC 10, he goes to DC 1066 because he's gone to the barbers and asked for a short back and Battle of Hastings, apparently. So it looks like he's wearing a hat.
I thought it was a hat. I thought it was a scarf.
It's his hair.
Oh my God.
Around the back, that's actually his hair. He has become a global icon. Lego, Henry the Hoover, all sorts of people have done kits. It's unbelievable. Even Calvin Harris has reached out to Jack saying, if you want to come to the show tonight, let me know, mate.
Wow.
And I do believe I saw on his socials that he was getting on a private jet. This is how huge he's become. He was getting on a private jet with his mates who have also all had the crazy haircuts.
Oh my God.
And I've got friends who are here who have seen him in clubs. And they said, people are losing their shit when they see him. They're like, oh, forget Carl, forget the DJs, forget Calvin and Carl. It's all about him. Jack, what a legend. And he's going on tour, apparently.
What does he do? Going on tour to do what?
I don't know what he does. We were reading about him yesterday. He says he's an ordinary boy from Newcastle, but he doesn't need to do anything now except go to clubs and keep that haircut for a bit longer because he is an icon. So I'm actually willing to go to a club just to try and spot him. So if your gang, when you get over here, want to go, tell them to count me in because I really want to see him out in the wild.
They definitely will. He's going to be on a reality TV show, isn't he, at some point? That's definitely going to happen now.
He really is. We're going to take a quick break for some ads.
Don't forget, if you're enjoying the podcast, you can become a subscriber to The Potting Shed.
You'll get longer episodes, bonus content, and access to our members' chat room where we can share tips.
And when we eventually do live shows, you get early access to tickets.
But most importantly, you'll be supporting the show. To subscribe, head to digitpod.co.uk or tap the link in the show notes.
This episode is brought to you by Airbnb.
2 things you need to know about me. I love a holiday and I love to spend time picking out the perfect place to stay.
You've travelled quite a lot. What do you usually look for when you're booking for someone? I need tips here.
Looking for comfort, a bit of home from home, but also personality and location. So, for example, I used Airbnb and stayed in a place in Colorado that was a tree house. It was magnificent.
Well, like an actual tree house?
Yeah, this fantastic man who owned it had built it across the years and had this beautiful staircase, everything built onto the tree, everything made of wood. A lot of stuff had been kind of reused. It had this fantastic bathtub, had these fabulous balconies. Yeah, it was a really special place.
Oh my God, it sounds incredible. I've actually got friends who've hosted their own places on Airbnb while they're away. So whether they're on tour or they're off visiting family, and it just makes sense, really.
Yeah, exactly. If your home's just going to be sitting empty while you're off adventuring or you're away for a long time with work, I just think, why not let someone else enjoy it?
Yeah, I mean, it's really flexible and also it can work to your schedule. You can choose to host when it suits you and pick up a bit of extra money along the way.
Your home might be worth more than you think. Find out how much at airbnb.co.uk/host.
This episode of Dig It is sponsored by Eight Sleep. Right, can we talk about actual life-changing tech for a second?
Are we going to talk about Eight Sleep?
Yes, Eight Sleep's new Pod 5.
So this is a smart mattress cover that fits right onto your bed and it automatically cools or it warms each side throughout the night.
So if Joe wants it Arctic and I want it warm and cosy, there's no arguments, Joe.
Oh, just call us Morecambe and Wise. It's amazing.
Yeah,
It
I
uses sensors and AI to track how you sleep, your heart rate, breathing, even if you snore, Zoe.
I do snore. Yes, I do. And if you do snore, like me, it gently adjusts your position. I mean, wow.
Plus the new pod blanket, it does exactly the same thing, all over temperature control on top of the bed.
If you're feeling the heat at night, literally or hormonally, this could be a game changer.
Head to 8sleep.com/digit and use the code DIGIT to get up to £350 off the Pod 5 Ultra.
Trust us, your future self will thank you.
Speaking of Calvin Harris, we should say congratulations to them.
Yeah.
They have welcomed their baby Micah, and they shared loads of pictures on Instagram, Joe.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, I'm sure, will have had the same experience all at the same time, because Calvin posted his picture and we're like, oh my God, father and baby, how gorgeous is that? And then you scroll through and there's Vic in her baby pool.
In the most idyllic setting.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's so beautiful. There's the mountain setting because he has this beautiful farm here, doesn't he? He's got animals of all sorts.
Does he?
And they've been really lucky, because I have to say that, because some people plan pool births and it doesn't go according to plan.
Yeah.
But Vic has managed to give birth in the birthing pool.
Yeah.
And Calvin's shared these messages of sort of admiration and love for his beautiful wife, a beautiful baby.
And then,
Calvin also shared a picture of Vic's placenta.
yeah.
Now, some people are like, wow, this is amazing. And I never knew what one looked like before. A lot of people were very much put off their breakfast. I mean, did you see your placentas, Joe?
No, I've never seen a placenta really. I'm really grateful that Calvin has posted it so that I could see exactly what it looked like. And the idea was that there's the placenta and then it's chopped up and then it's made into capsules, which I presume Vic will be taking. And a lot of people, I mean, it's quite a controversial conversation, isn't it? And I have no medical knowledge whatsoever. Some people say it's really helped them with postpartum depression. And then other people have said it doesn't do anything at all. So I have no idea what the truth is. But the photos caused a bit of a stir online, it's fair to say.
Yeah, and he'd taken the umbilical cord and drawn a little heart. And I mean, they're so open, and I think they're really brave to show, part of their life. And obviously it means so much to them. But yeah, some people were a bit like, whoa, I wasn't ready to see that yet. We're not actually going to show it on here, but you can look it up online. If you are fascinated and want to see Vic Hope's placenta or what placenta looks like, you can probably find it online. I remember when I had Woody, both my kids came out of the sunroof, as we say. I had C-sections. And when Woody was born, Norman was definitely up this end. And when Nellie was born, he was down the other end and he was filming everything. And he took a picture of my placenta in the kidney-shaped bowl and was showing that to me afterwards. And I was a bit queasy after, because I was a bit swollen up. I'd had a bit of edema when Nellie was born, and it was all a bit hazy. And I remember him showing me the picture. I was like, darling, I really don't need to see that right now, thank you. And then he was showing everyone, look at Zoe's placenta.
I remember Steve being so excited, like you were saying, Norman, when the baby was coming out, and he had his camera down there all the time. And we've got these now incredible photographs of Cass emerging half out. There was his midwife at one point. She went, oh, it's a little boy. And we were like, we don't know that. We haven't been told. And she went, look at him. And you could just see Cass's face. And it was like, no, he's definitely a boy. We don't have to see the rest of him. But we've got loads of really gory, but also beautiful, beautiful photographs of Cass. And then by the time it came to Coco, when she was born, I remember saying to Steve, he'd got a gig that he had to go to see the Hoosiers, who he managed. And he went, oh, do you think I should go and see the band? And I went, no, I'll be fine. Absolutely fine. I've got India here with me. I don't think she's going to come for ages. And then all of a sudden, Coco decided to make her entrance. So we had to fly to the hospital, and Steve was still at the gig. And I was like, get yourself from Brighton to here now. So he flew all the way, not literally in a helicopter or a plane, got himself very quickly to the hospital. And when he got there, they went, oh no, she's like 4 centimetres dilated. And he went, oh, you've got ages to go yet. And he literally got his coat and he got some cushions and he made himself a little bed on the floor and he went to sleep. And I'm there, all of a sudden the contractions get really heavy and he's snoring in the distance on the floor.
Go on, Disco Steve.
So India was my birth partner when I had Coco.
That's
India.
beautiful though.
It was really lovely. I thought it would be really lovely. And then after I'd given birth to her, and I was a geriatric mother. I was 42 when I had Coco, and it was so much harder. I was so exhausted. Trying to push I just didn't want to anymore. I just kept saying, I just can't do it.
Isn't it crazy that you're called a geriatric mum at 42?
I was called it at 38. When I had Cass, they put me down as geriatric. I was like, really?
People make birthing plans, don't they? And lots of people want to have a baby in a pool, and some people want to have babies at home. And I've had friends who've had a terrible time having babies. And it can be very tricky. It can be quite traumatic. Babies can come into the world in all different shapes and ways. And I always say to people having babies, I'm like, safe and happy landings.
Safe and happy landings. I love that.
Safe and happy landings. Yeah.
We've had an email from Sam who said, hey, Joe and Zoe, I've moved into my own place and for the first time I've got a lawn to look after. Trouble is, it's already gone all patchy and brown, and no matter what I do, it just looks tired and miserable. Should I be feeding it? Should I be watering it more? Or have I left it too late to save this summer? And what is the best thing to do right now? Should I panic or will it bounce back? I mean, I've got a really big lawn because of the way we are, because it's a field basically where we live at the moment. And I have a really lovely woman called Karen, who I know is a big fan of this podcast. So Karen, hi to you. And thank you for your advice that she sent through to me. And she keeps the grass, she comes and she scarifies every year and she treats it and does all that kind of stuff. But it's been a really hard summer. It's everywhere's the drought has really hit the grass. And the one thing I would say from my experience is it comes back. So I remember a couple of years ago just thinking, that's it, I'm going to have no more grass ever again. But it does, it comes back, grass bounces back. But we need an expert, I think. So what do you reckon?
Oh yeah, Jonny Hincks, who some people may know as Garden with Jonny. He's a fantastic character. I think he's also a firefighter. He's on Instagram, but he has sent us some great lawn tips for you.
Hi Joe, hi Zoe, I am Jonny, also known as Garden with Jonny. I'm a gardener, yes, but I'm a bit of a lawn care obsessive. So I thought I'd share a few quick tips to help you keep your lawns looking good this August. So first up, if your lawn's gone a little bit brown, honestly, do not panic. It's completely normal this time of year. Most of the time, it's just in dormancy. The grass is just conserving its energy in the dry conditions, and it will soon green up again as soon as we get a little bit of rainfall. I mean, my grass a few weeks ago was pretty brown, and now look at it, it's okay. If you're mowing, oh my God, I absolutely love mowing. I digress. Keep going, but raise the blade higher. Longer grass helps shade the soil, which reduces moisture loss and protects the roots from the heat. If you're watering, do it early in the morning or late evening. Aim for about once or twice a week and make sure you do it deeply. It's much better than doing it little and often. If those pesky weeds are creeping in, now's a good time to tackle them by hand, especially after when it's rained, when the soil is softer and the roots come out more easily. And if your lawn's looking really bad and tired, don't worry, we're nearly into September, which is the ideal time for scarifying, aerating and overseeding. Scarifying removes thatch and moss, aeration improves drainage and airflow, and overseeding helps thicken up bare patches. I hope those quick fire tips have helped you. I'm Garden with Jonny, and stay green, stay gorgeous. Drainage and airflow. Stop making me laugh, my kids are making me laugh.
Oh,
we love Garden with Jonny.
I love him. Jonny, that was amazing.
Everybody needs to follow him. It's Garden with Jonny, and it's got no H, Jonny.
Yeah.
God, those tools. Lord.
That's my favourite garden tool that I have. And it's if you've got dandelions in your lawn, which I know loads of people will have, you stick it into the ground and then you put your foot on it and the prongs go down into the ground. They grab around the roots and then you lift it out and it pulls it out. It's the most satisfying feeling in the world.
Yeah, because they can go so deep, can't they? A lot of weed roots.
Yeah.
I'm getting me one of those.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Jonny. I'm talking about the tool. Can I just say also his hydrangeas just looks so healthy. That lawn looks stunning. And his little shed, I think it might have been a greenhouse, was beautiful. Oh, we need more gardening with Jonny. And I remember coming to your house and you have a little robotic mower.
Oh, we've got
they're
two.
Quite good as well.
Yeah, we've got the Chuckle Brothers.
Yeah. Tell me the Chuckle Brothers.
Because we used to have a sit-on mower, which Disco used to drive around with Coco when she was tiny, and it was incredibly fun, really fun. But you know, he's a busy man; he couldn't always be bothered to do that. So we've got these robots. We have Paul and Barry, the Chuckle Brothers, and one of them does the field, so it's a bigger robot, and the smaller one does the garden. And it's been transformative because I used to spend a lot of my time getting angry and actually doing the mowing, and the robots they go about it all the time, so it saves time, saves space. The grass also gets nibbled, so constantly that's mulching and it's going back into the ground, into the soil, putting the goodness back into the soil, so you have no grass cuttings. And grass cuttings are, you know, if you've got a big garden, you have a lot of grass cuttings and you never know where to put them. So it's saved that problem as well. So I've got Cress robots, and they have been the best thing I think I've ever bought for the garden. Amazing. Really good.
Oh, and look, is that? Look at the pups.
Oh yeah, if you're watching on Spotify or YouTube, I've got my two dogs. I've got Brody and I've got Django, and I've also got Kiki the cat as well. And when we first got the robots, they were like, what the hell is this? Who have you brought now to join the family? And now they just kind of step out of their way and they just kind of live together as one happy family.
It's crate digging time, Joe. What vinyl have you got? What vinyl delight do you have for us this week?
Vinyl today, it is the new one from Wet Leg, which is called Moisturizer. I just think this band have developed so much, and I love what they've become. Fierce, and they just kick ass. The album is really, really good. And yeah, that is my recommendation. There's a lot of really good music around at the moment.
And there's the track on it, Davina McCall.
Oh, there's a song called Davina McCall, yeah.
And she went to see them.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
It's got a lot of good stuff on there. My favourite's Monge too. It ties in with the Dig It podcast, so all about the vegetables.
Perfect. Well, I haven't got my vinyl with me, but I have been using my trusty phone, and just last night driving somewhere in the car with my brother Nick, and so my son is the DJ, Woody, and also my nephew Ronnie. He's just finished his GCSEs and he's just played his first sets. He did a couple at Glastonbury. It was absolutely amazing. And Ronnie's tip to Nick and I when we were away was Oppidan. And we were listening to Oppidan last night. Some of our, younger listeners and viewers might already know Oppidan, but I had no clue who Oppidan was. And I've been listening to Over You and Mr. Sandman and Armed and Dangerous. And I guess it's sort of modern garage, but we had the tunes on as we drove to Pikes last night and the sun was setting. And I was like, Oppidan all the way. So that's my recommendation this week, although people will be like, and Oppidan is spelled Oppidan. So thank you, Ronnie Randall.
Nice.
Future DJ. DJs, surrounded by them, Joe. Can't move for them, I tell you.
Well, you are in Ibiza.
I am in Ibiza. Can I just say someone is looking after my house, so don't get any daft ideas. And you're coming out here.
Yes.
And fingers crossed our paths might cross. You never know where. And we may even run into Ibiza final boss.
I think he's a bit scary. I don't know if I want to bump into him. I'd rather bump into Calvin Harris.
That's it for today's episode. If you want to share on any of the subjects that we've covered, or you've got any questions for us or any funny stories, we do love hearing from you. To find out how to get in touch, just check in the show notes.
And make sure you follow us on Apple or Spotify to make sure you get the episodes as soon as they come out. All right, so I cannot wait to see you. Hopefully we will catch up on holiday. That would be very nice indeed. Otherwise, we'll see all of you on Monday for the Dig In. See you then.
Dig in like it. Bye. Bye, Joe. Dig It is a Persephonica production.